This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up, back with another one, and today we're diving into a heated basketball debate about player development and overseas systems. So let's check this clip out.
That's the highlights. That's the mixtape. That's not the game. That's not what makes Donovan Mitchell great, right? It's being simple and playing the game. But this is about structure. It's pay to play. It's pay to play in the States. Capitalism is wonderful. It's not great for player development. In Europe, to play, it's free. You go to your local club. It's subsidized more or less mostly by that community. So there's no hidden motives. There's no, we got a winner, the kid's leaving to the next club. Everyone's here for the long term to develop more or less. And so I think what you get is coaches. There's thousands of amazing coaches in the United States. It's not like there's only coaches in Europe. There's amazing coaches here, but they have a structure over there where you stick with your coaches more or less generally, and you learn to play the game the right way under the right pretenses. Here it's just been totally commercialized, and it makes it really hard for coaches to get their hands on a program or a kid and say, we are going to develop you the right way as a group to play skill basketball, team basketball, and play a variety of ways. Over here, it's very much like Swin said, get in your bag, learn the skills. Some skills coach is going to charge you by the hour at the park, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten out of hand. Unfortunately, I don't want to take any money out of anyone's pockets, but it makes the structure really difficult.
Steve Nash talked about structure, not talent. He said the American system, especially pay-to-play circuits, makes true development harder because everything is commercialized. Then Kevin Durant fired back and says the criticism feels like a shot at Black American players.
Different arguments, right? The first argument was about AAU basketball, which is a completely different argument than the Black American thing. I think whenever you bring race into something like this, it hijacks the conversation and takes away from the initial point, right? So to me, frankly, it felt like a little bit like a racist victimhood mentality, frankly, and it concerned me a tad, right? Because I think critiquing a development system is not critiquing a race. And we're talking about development systems for Americans. It's so AAU, which has been monopolized by shoe companies and by handlers and by, institutions that try to make it where it extracts value. And I get that predominantly players in the NBA are African American, but there are also a lot of players in the NBA and around the country that are Caucasian and involved in the same developmental structure, right, of AAU basketball, compared to the likes of overseas, where it's more institutionalized, where there's more structure, there's more focus on the basic fundamentals of the game. Now, the thing that really bothered me ultimately about the comment is that we've heard American players talk about this for the longest time. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, 2015, Kobe Bryant literally said European players are taught how to play the game the right way. They grow up learning fundamentals, spacing, footwork, and how to read the floor. In the U.S., we teach athleticism first. Over there, they teach skill and IQ first. Now, to me, Kobe never framed this as a racial or predominantly Black thing. He framed this as, or he never said European players were better. He was just saying the way they developed was different. And I felt like when KD sometimes goes off on these rants, it doesn't mean that he's fully wrong, but when you just engage it that way, it sounds a little bit reckless. And it also feels as if it can just polarize a statement to a country where we're all in the middle of Black History Month, like Morgan Freeman always has said. And man, like, Black history should never be minimized to a month. It should be American history. And that's why I wanted to come on TV and say to you.
This whole topic about the American developmental system, and I got a different look at it. Look, America is a top-down system, right? We look at things from the top down. So the reason why it's a debate is because we're looking at the top and we don't see any American-born players at the very top of the game, right? SGA is probably going to win the MVP again. It is what it is, right? So it's another year where people are just going to talk about, man, what's wrong with the American basketball player? The American basketball player as a group is good, but we are unable to produce that absolute top-end talent right now, and especially, NBA level talent, because of a couple issues. Now, it's not AAU. AAU is an organization, AAU is not the grassroots system. So the grassroots system is what we're talking about. And so what is the issue in the grassroots system? I put it to you like this. When we were coming through, right, we were learning and being coached by men who had accomplished things, We were being coached by people who had jobs and people who had families and people who had wives and children and owned homes and, were running businesses, whatever they were. These men had achieved certain levels of success, and they were able to pass that on to us in the form of this idea that it's a grind, right? It's a grind to do this. Now, the majority of the people in this, and there are some good guys in it, but the majority of these dudes are hustlers, bro. And the sport has gone from grind mode to hustle mode. And so kids learn how to play down, they learn how to cheat and steal and hustle to get into events where they don't have to pay, and then we got all these event coordinators trying to make money. People weren't trying to make money off of grassroots basketball when I was coming through, right? It was about literally helping young people and developing young people in the game. And somehow or somewhere, this whole hustle type of idea came in. So you're dealing with all these shoulda, coulda, woulda type people in the sport. All of these dudes that have not been successful in their lives are now using youth sports, in particular basketball, to try to come up, to try to make it, to try to figure out a way to hustle this kid and hustle that kid, and I'm going to trade this kid for that kid. And it's messed up the kids. It's messed up the top end of the product. Let's just be honest. So now you're dealing with a lot of people and a lot of kids that they don't know how to grind. So when they get to the point where they need to know how to be coached, they need to know how to listen, they need to know how to deal with somebody getting on them and coaching them hard and criticizing them in a constructive way, they can't take it and they fold.
Steve Nash is not attacking players at all. He is critiquing the system. He explains that in Europe, basketball development is more community-based, structured, and focused on teaching fundamentals over a long period of time. Players stay with coaches, learn team concepts, spacing, and skill development without the same commercial pressure. In the United States, especially within AAU and shoe-sponsored circuits, the system has become heavily commercialized. Trainers charge by the hour, programs compete for exposure, and players often move from team to team chasing visibility instead of long-term growth. Nash believes that makes it harder to build complete team-oriented players. Kevin Durant responds by saying the constant praise of the European model feels like criticism aimed at Black American players who dominate the sport. He suggests there is an underlying tone to that narrative. Jay Williams pushes back, arguing that criticizing a development structure is not the same as criticizing a race. Make sure to drop a comment and like this video, and I'll see you in the next video.